I'd like to thank Zhao Mei for at least giving one good fight in this. Obviously, like this whole Battle Coliseum, the first round it was really just kind of like getting their feet wet, putting them against somebody for them to go at. And I mean, other outside of like the fight aspect, it was cool to see kind of like that hint of Shiki's involvement with Mother, which at least adds some story aspect to what was just literally him one shotting some fodder dude. But this chapter, I didn't like that it crammed two fights in the same chapter, but whatever. It wasn't a bad thing for it to happen. I like that even though that was the case, we got some some character moments, a lot of really cool panels, and on top of that, you really got to see just some direct problem solving and planning from these characters. So as they're going out, there's these. I like that the little guys got named the Pico Rada, the weird little creatures in the audience. I don't know what it is about that. They have a really weirdly cute but funny design. I enjoy them. I like those little guys. That should have been Rebecca's little animal, companion, not Happy Bot. That would have also led to a little bit less annoyance with some people talking about. But whatever. And once they're getting ready for that, you have this funny part where Rebecca's talking about if Xiaomei would stop saying delicious because it's making everyone else's kind of just like mouths just start drooling, and Homora's like, no, I don't think that's the case. I think that's just you. But she explains how there's going to be 4 rounds. I wish it was 5. I wanted Shiki to get at least another cool win, but I guess it's fine because Shiki's had pretty much almost all the fights in the series so far, so I guess that's not a big deal. And they're gearing up for him to fight Draken Joe, so it's not like it's oh, now we're gonna wait forever until Shiki gets another fight. That we know that Draken Joe is not a pushover. He's got a clearly very good ether gear, so hopefully when we get to him, he'll have a really good fight for Shiki. But no, now we're going up, and the next match was actually Rebecca, who's going against this guy, this other B-Cuber, Flanker Yochi, or whatever, however pronounce that is, but 2 B-Cubers, and she's able to use her weapons, because obviously if you're a weapon-style person, Xiaomei's like, yeah, of course you can use your weapons in this match. And while Rebecca's fighting him, they're both guns users. I like that he had the boxing gloves, and then it was revealed, like, right after he put them on, he just opens palm up, and they just start shooting. And they were all just kind of like this wide range scatter style. But once that happens, Rebecca's just like, oh, easy to dodge. She's a marksman. She's used to guns and gun style combat. So spray and pray style people who are just like blasting bullets everywhere with no accuracy is easy for her to dodge and deal with. And then she's like, because she's a marksman, so she's like, well, this will be easy for me. Pulls, she has her guns, shoots, but he has an anti-ether barrier, so the bullets don't do anything. And then it turns out his bullets aren't just for general shooting. They have a secondary purpose. And he says like beforehand that it's like, oh, I'll upload this and put it on my channel. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. Maybe we can. That sounds like something because he wants to do a collab eventually. And the bullets end up like at the back end spraying this like slime that dissolves clothes. So some fan service in there. So this is when fan service is fine, because there's like fan service when it's just like it's just there. As long as it doesn't deter away from the plot, I don't care. As long as it's literally not just fan service that has literally it's just taking up panels. This was like, okay, you had an erotic part where Rebecca's clothes are being melted off, but that ended up getting her really pissed off. She's thinking back about Iliga from the whole thing on Gilst, and she just kind of comes in decide she's going to kick him in the face. Obviously, no ether involved. The barrier does nothing, and she just stomps him over. And you got this really cool panel where she's standing on top of him. You got the whole shadow around the eyes. She's just looking pissed off and just got like her foot on his face. She looks like, again, there's a lot of really cool panels in this. I actually was thinking about using a few of them, but obviously the very last panel, that's the one that had to be there. Well, I guess the last page, second to last panel, had to be the one for this chapter, just because it was a reveal that I think everyone's been wanting. So, there you had that. Rebecca ends up winning. You had a short fight, but at the same time, it showed Rebecca, her style of like fighting. Even though she didn't win in marksmanship, which she wanted, you got to see like, okay, yeah, she's clearly at least somewhat combat capable. She's like, okay, bullets, this guy doesn't have technique, this guy doesn't have accuracy, he's just kind of shooting. So she's like, okay, I can move around, shoot him, and pretty much take him out with technique versus just kind of like AoE, like complete and total quantity of bullets, which was good on our part, and then quick thinking. And then a little bit of foreshadowing, because everyone, there's been a lot of discussion with the fans, and I think it's one of the most talked about things is her eventually getting an ether gear. Obviously, it's being laid out there, but we don't know what it is. We just know that she's gonna get one eventually, and people are always talking about what it could be. She talked about how like she wanted to get one that maybe like made it so she didn't that she couldn't miss. I feel like hers is gonna be better because with Zhao Mei, and she's like, oh, I thought I was gonna get to see her ether gear this time, but I guess that's for a whole different thing. Because she knows what her powers are going to be like eventually. She knows what all their abilities in the long run are really capable of. And the next one, she puts Wise up, and Wise is going against this kind of like animal dude who's very speed based, and who goes running around the Coliseum on the walls, probably revving up an attack, because they talk about how his speed is increasing as he's going. And I'm gonna say, Wise's design in this outfit, where he's got kind of like, he went with that mobster design, I wanted to keep this. This looks it's simplistic yet badass. Like, he's got this cool black suit, this nice kind of like striped shirt, and this what is that, like a star like pattern tie, and you had that cool like zero, obviously Eden Zero right over that on the shirt for the logo. I thought that was really cool. I'd like him to stay in this design. I think it works really well with this character, much better than like his like futuristic one. I think it should be like kind of like how you remember Jalal used to have a like a suit that he used when he first used Meteor, and that was like more for combat oriented. Like he got hit by Naz's attack, and his clothes that he had on kind of like were destroyed, but he had the suit on underneath. I want this kind of like Wise has this on normally, but then he has like a combat suit that maybe it comes over, or he has it underneath, or maybe it's like some way of converting over, kind of like obviously Hiroshima likes the Marvel movies. Give him kind of like how Iron Man had that kind of like pretty much clothed into armor that he had in Infinity War, something like that, which I think would be really cool. Maybe later on in the story, but I want to see more of him in this outfit, because it just looks good on it. It looks really good on his character. It fits perfectly. And the guy's just going around, running around the room. And Wise, who he isn't like a power style fighter. He's not like Rebecca, who is a quick on her feet style person. He's a strategist. He's very much like analytic. He's very much like able to look at a situation to figure out the best strategy that he has. He's talking to Zhao Mei, and he's like, hey, can I use, you said I could use a weapon. Can I use this? He pulls out, he just picks up Pino. And the obvious thought is the fact that he is, okay, his whole ether gear, his machina maker, he can, in real time, alter up machines. And it was like, I was thinking maybe he would turn Pino into a weapon. I was a little nervous. You could tell she was a little nervous. She didn't want to get altered. But, obviously when you look at this dude, there's a guy what is his name? Highway Enna. He's using ether gear. So, ether gear and, EMP's effect that turn them off like machines. She was able to, use her EMP as Wise wanted, which, pretty much this dude going super fast on a wall, and then just crashes at that point, and Wise just comes up and starts stomping him out. And actually had like a part where it reminded me a little bit, you remember like when Acnologia stomped out Irene's body, but way more viciously, like with blood splatter everywhere, just stomping on a corpse. And Wise, who, the thing I like about Wise is the fact that he's not like a good guy. He's more like an anti-hero at this point. No, he's obviously now on the team. We don't know if maybe he's gonna get swayed over by Drac and Joe. I think it's possible. Maybe not permanently, maybe just like temporary. But the fact that he doesn't come off as like a normal good guy, he's much more of like he's much more of kind of like how some of the members of Fairy Tail got when they were pissed off. But he's like this normally. He's more scummy. He's more like, if it lets me win, it lets me win. And that's where that match ends. But then the next one, Homura. I was expecting maybe like Shiki getting, the big fight here, but it looks like it's going to be Homura. It's much more important for her. And I believe that Mishima said that Homura was one of his favorite characters out of the new crew. His favorite is Pino, and then probably, I think after that he said it was between Shiki and Homura. And now Homura is going up, and it's weird because like I really like her outfit, but it's like not even, it's like it's pretty erotic in design. I just think it looks good on her. I think it looks cool, but from her, this is where the actual fight was, because the other three beforehand were kind of pretty much warm-ups just to kind of get everything going, to kind of see how things are. But now an actual fight is taking place, like a big character, because at the end of it, as the title suggested, Footsteps of the Battle Maiden comes out Valkyrie, but not an actual one, a replica of her, but to the extent where she has an Ether Gear sword. So I'm wondering to what extent that Xiao Mei could do with her weird like pocket dimension and strange of you know, her capabilities. Could she make a replica of another person? Like say like Shiki ends up fighting Draken Joe, loses, maybe like tries again, loses, and then he's like, how can I beat this guy? And maybe that maybe he could come here, fight a replica of Draken Joe, try and figure out his strategies, try and figure out a way to combat him. You know, they're really interesting on its own. You know, just the capabilities of what they could get from Xiao Mei, and it couldn't just work on them. Like other people would go there if that was the case, and kind of like, you know, practice against Shiki to learn how to beat him. Who knows? But it was just really cool. Her design is really nice. I like the I like her nice dark skin. You know, the kind of like tuft of hair over her face, but the long kind of like long tied back hair, but like that long stream going out the back. So it's gonna be really cool to see like as she's fighting, just kind of like waving behind her, almost like a cape, and just like how she looks with her sword, her sick armor. But Homura at the end just seems like really rattled by it. It's gonna be super interesting to see them fight, because you know, is the Valkyrie replica gonna be, you know, have similar memories as the normal one? Because obviously Homura is going to have experience fighting her. She's going to know some of her moves. So that would probably be like the way that she could win. Like Valkyrie's still strong, but maybe this Valkyrie, because she's just a replica, she doesn't have the memories of Homura. Maybe, you know, that's how Homura is going to pull out victory. She knows Valkyrie's moves, but this replica doesn't know what Homura's moves are. So she's going to be able to get like a surprise in on her. I'm hoping for at least a chapter and a half of a fight, because I really like Homura. Jin is my favorite Eden Zero character so far, but Homura is my favorite out of the crew. So I'm hoping that we get to see some really cool stuff, because her sword has currently 5 forms, and we've seen 2. We saw the 2 like short swords, and then her kind of like normal long sword that Valkyrie is seen wielding. So look forward to that. That's gonna be really cool in the next chapter. It was really. I wish the fights were longer for the other 2, but the other 2 obviously it was more of a display. It wasn't for, you know, the idea of, oh, let's have a really sick battle between these characters. It was more of letting us get a glimpse more of, you know, how they are, how they fight, how they react in a combat situation, and a little bit of foreshadowing with Rebecca's Ether Gear, and then laying up in a really interesting fight to where there's no way this character can be fodder. There's the other 3 were like pushovers. They had like kind of like silly designs. There's no way that Valkyrie is going to get like the same like treatment of just like, oh yeah, we're going to beat her in like 3 pages. I mean, in the end, you know, you'll probably get like a cool like that like sword slash like one cut like big battle. Like it'll be down to like maybe the first strike which lands, and it'll just be like a more technique style fight between the 2. Which again, we'll see how it goes. I'm interested in that layout of the chapter. Just what is Valkyrie capable of, and what is Homura going to show capable of in a battle between student and master, or at least replica of master. So on that, tell me in the comment section below what you thought about this chapter, how you think about how this is going. And I really like this design for Valkyrie. I think it's really good. Not as good as Homura's design. Homura definitely has best girl design so far in the series. But other than that, I really appreciate a comment below. Tell me how you feel about this, and please, if you would, be so kind, thumbs up the video, but press the like button and the subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.